beginning the mistake. I wasn't supposed to be in the medical wing that day. Humans rarely were. The TSS Valaris was an interspecies exploration cruiser, but interspecies didn't mean equal. It meant humans handled the risky manual labor, hull repairs, radiation maintenance, and planetary scouting. The advanced alien species on board, the Illyrians, handled command, science, and medicine, especially medicine. Their biology was delicate, luminous, and built for high-gravity worlds and extreme radiation tolerance. Ours, by comparison, was considered crude but adaptable, useful in a crisis, replaceable. I'd torn open my forearm sealing a plasma conduit. It wasn't fatal, just ugly. The wound had already begun clotting by the time I walked into the Illyrian medical chamber. The room glowed soft blue. Transparent biotubes lined the walls. Suspended organisms pulsed inside nutrient columns. It smelled faintly metallic, like rain on steel. She stood at the center console. Dr. Veilira. Tall, silver-skinned, eyes faintly luminescent beneath a cascade of dark bioluminescent hair. Illyrians moved with unnatural grace, like gravity treated them differently. She turned when I entered. "You are leaking," she observed calmly. "Yeah," I said, holding up my arm. "That happens when you wrestle a plasma line." She didn't smile. Illyrians rarely did. "Sit." I obeyed. A mechanical arm descended from the ceiling, scanning my wound. Veilira's eyes followed the readings across a floating holographic panel. "Your biology continues to fascinate," she said quietly. "Good or bad?" "Undetermined." "Comforting." She prepared an injector, sleek, crystalline, humming faintly with internal energy. I assumed it was some alien antiseptic or regeneration serum. "Hold still," she instructed. I looked away as the injector pressed against my arm. There was a soft hiss, a flash of cold, then heat, real heat. It spread up my arm, across my chest, into my spine. I sucked in a breath. "That feels different." Veilira froze. Her eyes snapped to the injector. The color drained from her face. For the first time since I'd met her, Dr. Veilira looked afraid. "That was not correct," she whispered. I blinked. "Not correct how?" She grabbed my arm, scanning rapidly. The holographic display flickered violently. Her voice dropped to a whisper. "This wasn't for humans." I stared at her. "What does that mean?" She leaned closer, her tone urgent. "Don't say a word." Middle, the change. The door sealed behind her with a sharp metallic snap. She locked the medical wing. "Okay," I said slowly. "You're scaring me now." She ignored me, running diagnostics at speeds my eyes couldn't follow. "What did you inject me with?" I asked. Her answer came in a tight breath. "A sovereign enhancement serum." That didn't sound like antiseptic. "For what species?" I pressed. She hesitated. "For the Illyrian ruling bloodline." I felt the heat spreading deeper now, into bone, into marrow. "You gave me royal alien super soldier juice?" Her gaze snapped to mine. "It is not a joke." My heart started pounding harder. "What does it do?" Her silence was worse than any answer. Finally, "It amplifies neural conductivity, cellular regeneration, sensory acuity, and something else." "What's something else?" She swallowed. "It unlocks dormant genetic pathways." I laughed nervously. "I don't have dormant alien royalty genes." She didn't laugh. "Your species shares distant ancestral markers with ours." The room tilted slightly. "That's not possible." "Your scientists would disagree," she said quietly. My skin began to itch. No, not itch. Vibrate. The lights in the room flickered. Veilira stared at me. "You're stabilizing it." "That's bad." "For any other species, it would be fatal." I felt a pulse ripple outward from my chest. The biotubes along the wall trembled. The organisms inside glowed brighter. Veilira stepped back. "It is responding to you." I looked down at my arm. The wound had closed. Not scabbed. Not healed slowly. Closed. Like it had never existed. "That's not normal," I muttered. "No," she agreed softly. "It is not." The intercom crackled. Medical wing. Report energy fluctuations. Veolira's eyes flicked toward the ceiling. They are detecting it. Detecting what? You. The truth about the serum. She moved quickly, dimming systems. That serum was designed for the High Sovereign, she said. Who? The leader of my people. I stared at her. You accidentally gave me the alien emperor's super evolution shot. Her voice sharpened. It was not an accident. The words hung in the air. What? She finally met my eyes fully. I switched the injectors. The world went very quiet. You did this on purpose. Yes. Why? Her expression shifted, not clinical now, but desperate. Because we are dying. The Illyrians had been ancient when humanity was still dividing into tribes. Their civilizations spanned star systems. Their lifespans stretched centuries. And yet, our birth rates have collapsed, she said. Our adaptability has vanished. We perfected ourselves into extinction. And you thought injecting a human would fix that? You survive where we fail. I felt another surge, stronger. The air pressure shifted. I needed to know if your species could carry the legacy. Carry it how? She hesitated. By becoming it. Escalation, the awakening. Alarms suddenly blared. The door tried to override its lock. They know, she whispered. Know what? That the serum activated. The High Sovereign himself appeared as a holographic projection in the room. Tall. Ethereal. Crown of living light around his skull. His eyes fixed on me. Explain, he commanded. Veolira stepped forward. I take full responsibility. The Sovereign ignored her. He studied me like a specimen. You carry my blood, he said slowly. I felt something respond to his voice. A resonance. The air between us shimmered. I'm human, I said. The Sovereign tilted his head. Not entirely. The words echoed through me like a tuning fork. Visions slammed into my mind. Ancient Illyrian starships. A forgotten migration. A divergence in genetic history. Humanity wasn't separate. We were distant cousins. Adapted differently. Where they sought perfection, we embraced chaos. Where they engineered stability, we evolved through disaster. You are unstable, the Sovereign said. Story of my life, I muttered. But I felt it now. Something waking inside me. Not foreign. Not alien. Familiar. Like a muscle I'd never used before. The Sovereign's expression darkened. The serum will overwrite him. Veolira shook her head. It is merging. I dropped to one knee as energy surged through my nervous system. Pain. But not destructive. Transformative. I saw patterns in the ship's systems. I could feel electrical currents humming in the walls. I could sense Veolira's heartbeat. And the Sovereign's. Faint. Weak. Dying. You're failing, I said suddenly. The Sovereign stiffened. You overextended your enhancements, I continued, words flowing without conscious thought. You optimized away resilience. Veolira stared at me. You can perceive that? Yes. The Sovereign's projection flickered. You cannot be allowed to exist. The doors burst open. Guards stormed in. Veolira stepped in front of me. But I stood. And something inside me shifted fully awake. Climax, the choice. The guards aimed energy weapons. I raised my hand instinctively. Not to block. To reach. The weapons shut down. Not exploded. Not overloaded. They simply stopped. The Sovereign's eyes widened. You interface with our systems. I don't know how, I admitted. I just can. The serum hadn't overwritten me. It had integrated. Human adaptability met Illyrian refinement. Chaos fused with precision. Veolira whispered, You are what we were meant to become. The Sovereign's voice cracked like breaking crystal. You would replace me. I looked at him. For the first time I saw fear. Not of death. Of irrelevance. I don't want a throne, I said honestly. I want you to live. Silence. Then I felt it clearly. The flaw in his physiology. The over-optimized neural lattice. The rigid genetic ceiling. And I understood what to do. I stepped forward. Veolira, I said quietly. Is there another dose? Her eyes widened. Yes. Give it to him. The room froze. The sovereign recoiled. It is untested. So was I said. Valyra hesitated. Human compatibility was unique. No, I said gently. It wasn't compatibility. I looked at the sovereign. It was humility. The flaw in Illyrian evolution wasn't biological. It was philosophical. They believed themselves complete. Humans never did. We were always unfinished. Valyra prepared the injector with trembling hands. The sovereign stared at it like a weapon. You would risk annihilation? He asked. I met his gaze. We do it all the time. He considered that. Then slowly he nodded. Proceed. Ending a new evolution. The injection was administered. The sovereign convulsed. Energy rippled across the chamber. For a terrifying moment, I thought I'd killed him. Then, the light around his crown shifted. Softer. Less rigid. His eyes opened. Different. Alive in a way they hadn't been before. He stood. The guards fell to their knees. He looked at me, not as a threat. As an equal. What have you done? He asked softly. Nothing, I replied. You did it yourself. Valyra exhaled shakily. The readings stabilized. The High Sovereign had not been replaced. He had been renewed. He approached me slowly. You are no longer merely human, he said. And you're no longer stagnant, I countered. A faint smile touched his lips. Perhaps the first genuine one in centuries. You have given us evolution again. I shook my head. You gave it to yourselves. The room felt lighter. The tension gone. The sovereign turned to Valyra. You defied command. Yes, my sovereign. He paused. Good. She blinked. You will head the integration initiative, he continued. Human and Illyrian cooperation. Voluntary enhancement only. He looked back at me. And you will serve as liaison. I groaned slightly. Figures. But deep down, I felt something else. Pride. Not because I'd become stronger, but because I hadn't. The serum amplified what was already there. Adaptability. Empathy. Choice. As I left the medical wing hours later, the ship felt different. Alive in a new way. Valyra walked beside me. You were never in danger, she said quietly. I raised an eyebrow. You looked pretty worried. She allowed herself a small smile. I was. We stopped outside the viewport. Stars stretched endlessly before us. Do you regret it? She asked. I considered the question. I could feel more now. See more. Understand more. But I was still me. No, I said finally. Why? Because you didn't turn me into something else. She studied me carefully. What did I turn you into? I looked out at the stars. Proof. Of what? That evolution isn't about perfection. I glanced at her. It's about staying unfinished. Somewhere deep within the ship's core, new systems activated, designed jointly by human engineers and Illyrian architects. The beginning of something neither species could have built alone. She had given me the wrong injection. And in doing so, she had given both our species the right future. And this time, no one needed to keep it secret.